Alrighty, folks, it is time that we break down the latest controversy with our first baseman, Pete Alonso. As I was just saying in our live show here live that are not watching this as a clip segment after the fact, as we know, Alonso has had an up-down season to say the least for the 2024 Mets. And even though that, yes, he has hit his fair share of home runs, have they been effective home runs? Has Pete Alonso been the guy that we need him to be every time out there? And there's a reason why, going back to July 22nd, I came out with a video that had to do with the Pete Alonso problem. Over 10,000 views. Check it out if you haven't, everybody, because that broke down all the key numbers for Pete Alonso and his lack of being a clutch player when needed to for the Mets in this year that they pushed for playoffs in the wild card race. Pete Alonso, when speaking to the media today, had the following to say about his 2024 season. Listen up.
It's true that numbers are not quite where they usually are. Just, is there anything you can put a finger on of why you haven't fully been able to come around, do you think?
I mean, I think I'm in a position where, I mean, I'm on pace for close to 40 homers. I'm an all-star, so I think, or I was an all-star this year, so I think that, I mean, to beat myself up or be frustrated, it's really no use, and I'm really excited for the end of the year where we get to play winning baseball. So I'm really excited. I'm happy with what I've accomplished this year so far, and I think that there's definitely going to be some opportunities that I'm looking forward to capitalizing on.
It's true that numbers are not quite where they usually are. Just, is there anything you can put a finger on of why?
Okay, my apologies. I'm pretty sure that entire thing played. I don't think that there was anything else. If I cut it off a little premature, I do apologize, folks. But yeah, let's talk about this, okay? Because when you talk about being out of the realm of reality, this is Pete Alonso. And I love Pete. This is a guy who had the privilege of meeting him last year at Jeff McNeil's charity event. I have no ill wills with Alonso whatsoever. He has been one of my favorite Mets since he arrived here in 2019, being the batting champ that he was in various ways, of winning, obviously Rookie of the Year, being the home run champ, winning the home run derby. So many great vibes early in his career with Pete Alonso. But something that needs to make note of is the most important numbers of all with Pete. And this is where we have a problem. Alonso, when talking about his season thus far and how it's been rather underwhelming, speaking about, well, I'm on pace for 40 home runs. Mind you, Pete Alonso is currently on pace for just 33 home runs this season at the time of being live here, that being August 5th, 2024. And being an all-star this year, yes, because Pete Alonso was so deserving to be an all-star, said absolutely nobody. Pete was probably one of the most least deserving players among all current options for the Mets. It was without question guys at the time, and Francisco Lindor, Brandon Nimmo, that were the far more deserving options at the All-Star game. And the only reason why he was there was because of the fan voting format one, and Alonso telling the MLB that if he is an All-Star, then he will take part in the MLB Home Run Derby. That would be him taking part again if he becomes an All-Star. Otherwise, why else would he really do that? So Rob Manfred, MLB, they spearhead this. They want to make sure that they can market that potential value, even though Alonso was as underwhelming as they come in the home run derby. Yes, I know Dave Joust had a lot to do with that, throwing up and in on my guy like he's trying to dot the corners. No, Dave, this is not 1970 when you were on the bump. This is 2024. Regardless, Pete Alonso is very much not a guy that is speaking to the media and to the fans in a manner as if he has any actual clue on the type of season that he is having. And to shed some more light on this, if you're wondering, Wardy, what kind of season has Pete Alonso had? It can't be that bad, right? It can't be terrible. It hasn't been terrible, everybody, but it has been far from the Pete Alonso season you're asking for, especially when this might be the final time we see Pete Alonso in Flushing, Queens. Look at the following numbers, folks. Pete Alonso, by the years when we look at runners in scoring position, 2019, a 246 average, a 361 on base percentage, a roughly 600 OPS. Slug. Mind you, this is what juice baseballs. 2020 shortened season, 234 average, 375 on base percentage, 516 slug. You're still looking at a 900 plus OPS there. Straw numbers, right? Then we get a 2021, a 252 average, a 355 on base percentage, a 469 slug. Not the best numbers. The power came down a little bit, but not horrendous either. Still in the 800 plus range there. 2022, which was his best season in my humble opinion. I've said this since the conclusion of 2022, Pete Alonso was never more locked in, hitting for opposite field and hitting when it mattered most. A 300 average, a 424 on-base percentage, and a whopping roughly 700 slug. We were looking at a Pete Alonso well over a 1,000 OPS when it mattered most, when you need to hit in clutch situations with runners in scoring position. 2023, even with Alonso having a down year by all accounts with the average, as inconsistencies, missing a couple weeks with the Charlie Moore and hit by pitch, really never being the same all that much after that throughout the rest of the season. A 257 average still, a 377 on-base percentage, and a 341 slug. We're still looking at right around a 1,000 OPS or so there for Pete Alonso, between 900 and 1,000 in the 2023 campaign where everything went wrong. Now we fast forward to 2024, as we highlighted weeks ago on the channel, holds true yet again. A 198 batting average entering tonight's game, in which it has now dropped slightly, a 331 on-base percentage, and a 359 slug. Pete, I love you, buddy, but miss me with the nonsense like you have an absolute clue of your season that's going on. And if we all heard correctly how Pete Alonso articulated himself in said interview, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that he is not only uncomfortable, but he is pressing, he is still facing the pressure. Alonso has never been a guy that's really handled the New York media all that well. He's either been, too happy, according to Mets fans, when they're going nowhere in the season, saying, root for us, we're going to make it worth it for you guys, when we're going to be 15 games out of a playoff spot by the end of the season. Or it's just Alonso, who is deemed as a true power hitter, a slugger, a leader of this organization, not clutching up when the Mets need him to. And that's the main problem here, everybody. We just relayed those runners in scoring position numbers. They get worse. Again, Pete Alonso with no outs this season entering today's game, a 272 average and an 873 OPS. Pete Alonso in 2-out hitting, a 208 average and a 645 OPS. He's horrendous this season. Absolutely horrendous when you need him to be in those clutch situations for you. Let's see. And you don't hear Judge saying this kind of stuff. No, you do not, because Judge is not only the leader, he is absolutely the leader. Right, more. See you. And Jason, have a great rest of your night, my man. Happy to have you in here as always. We know Judge is the leader of the Yankees, but here's the thing. The Mets haven't had a true leader to that caliber like Aaron Judge, and if they do, it's Francisco Lindor without question, because he has been leaning that way. So yes, Lindor has been what Judge has been for the Yankees, what now Lindor has been for the Mets, especially his ability to overcome adversity yet again this season. Pete Alonso and Milwaukee are far from it. Again, men on base this season overall, just runners on base, even guys at first, a 209 average, a 731 OPS. Pete Alonso, 2-out hitting and runners in scoring position, a 200 batting average, a 636 OPS. Late and close in ball games, Pete Alonso, a 150 average, a 603 OPS. Pete Alonso in tied ball games this season, a 194 average, a 678 OPS. When the Mets are behind in ball games this season, he has a 305 average, a 1000 OPS. When we look at ahead in ball games, a 222 average and a 681 OPS. Again, Pete, we love you. We want you to succeed. This is not about us wanting to send you right out here and then you not having anything to do with the Mets again, but you are not helping yourself and you are not giving yourself any favors whatsoever. Hiring Scott Boras was a recipe for disaster that we have already seen. Denying the Mets $175 million or so extension last year was already biting you in the tuchus. I know you're looking for $200+ million this offseason, but I'm telling you right now, with the way that things are trending, you have to be lucky if Steve Cohen is the one handing out that paycheck. If you're saying, why wouldn't the Mets and Steve Cohen hand out a blank check? It's because it's a first baseman. You don't do this. We love Pete, but Pete is not a generational hitter. Pete Alonso is not what Juan Soto is. Pete Alonso is not what Aaron Judge is. Pete Alonso, I will argue, isn't even what Francisco Lindor is as a true all-around player. He doesn't have the defensive upside. If you want some context, Pete Alonso, who's worked on his defensive game mightily the past number of years, has now fallen off a cliff this season. Defensively, base running, I should say, hitting in clutch situations. Everything that Pete Alonso has worked greatly towards over the past number of years has gotten better with throughout his career. He has nosedived this season. So again, once more, to anyone saying, oh, Pete Alonso isn't having that bad of a year, it's not about just the baseline numbers. We can look at those every day of the week. It's what we're seeing with our very own eyes every single night, staying up late on the East Coast, watching those godforsaken Angels games. It's staying up late night on the East Coast because we're at Citi Field popping a couple drinks with our buddies, and we're seeing the Mets go down because Pete Alonso induced into an inning double play. This is the frustration, Pete. We love you. We want you to be a Met the rest of your career, but you're doing everything, and I mean literally everything in your power right now to make sure that things continue to trend in the opposite direction of that potential reality beyond the 2024 season. So, final remarks from me. For you, Pete, yes, I get it. You're an all-star this year. You hit your home runs. You're going to continue to do so. Now, let's actually get the head out of your ass a little bit. Let's focus up. I know you know those numbers. I'd like to think you know, because if you don't know, I would actually argue that that's a major problem for the Mets front office to not make it very aware of Pete Alonso and his lack of ability to hit when they need to most. Have it right in front of his face. He's probably pressing because he knows damn well that he is not having a good season in that regard, and he knows he's losing millions by the day. It is hard to believe otherwise. Pete Alonso, I love you. We love you. We need you to be better, but miss us with that nonsense of a quote that you gave us today that you think us fans are going to take over well. It doesn't matter if we've been diehard Pete Alonso fans since day one or if we've been pessimistic this entire time. There's a reason why universally most Mets fans right now are not happy with those remarks, and it's because of all the factual numbers, keyword fact, factual numbers that we just relayed for each and every one of you. That is my Pete Alonso TED Talk. Thank you all so much for watching that. I greatly appreciate that. Hit that like and subscribe button on your way in or out. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on Pete Alonso and his up-down season and his latest remarks. If you agree or disagree with them, what are your choice words for Pete, and what do you expect from him for the remainder of this season? Because at the core of it, no matter what, I want Alonso to succeed. I want us to have ourselves a fun playoff run. Pete, you can make that happen. You can be a lightning rod in this lineup. Please, oh please, with the deepest lineup you've had throughout your entire career, finally here in 2024, take advantage of it. Thank you guys all so much for watching. To my live viewers that are watching this from postgame, appreciate you guys all greatly smashing those buttons. To my replay viewers that are watching this as a clip segment after the fact, thank you so much too. Let me know your thoughts down below. Stay tuned for more consistent coverage on all things Mets, all in season and off season long here on the channel. And as always, let's go Mets, baby. Peace out, folks.